I just see myself as a very average girl. I work a 9 to 5. I live in a small apartment. I have a dog. Like, there's nothing tremendous about me whatsoever. Like, and a lot of people see my stuff and they're like, wow, this is amazing. This is fantastic. And I appreciate those comments always, but you can do it too. There's nothing that is innate in me that I'm able to go out and pursue this bodybuilding journey that you don't have in you as well. If you can really put your mind to it and decide, like, this is something I want to do, I want people to know that and be encouraged by it as well.
Welcome back to the Comp Closet podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Moore, and today we are joined from the other side of the world by an inspiring OCB pro. She's recently blown up on social media, and she is all about showing that anyone can pursue the extraordinary journey of bodybuilding. Abigail Okenge, welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I am so excited to be here.
I am so excited as well. So let's start from the beginning of your journey. Can you share a bit about your lifestyle, how you started getting into fitness, and what led you into bodybuilding?
Yeah, so I think a lot of people in fitness start as athletes. I am no different. I was an athlete growing up. I was a swimmer, which I loved. But looking back, I can kind of see how a lot of my insecurities, I'll say, came from swimming. You know, you're in a locker room with a lot of girls, most of whom are not clothed or they have like a swimsuit on, right? And you just pick up comments along the way of girls, how they comment about their bodies, you commenting on your own body. And I have like specific memories of like myself, you know, I'm in 6th grade at this point, looking in the mirror and like seeing that little piece of my body below my belly button that's just like not as flat as I want it. Like, I remember that. And so was an athlete, and then up until the end of my swimming career, swimming was done. You obviously burn a lot of calories when you swim. It's a very cardiovascularly intense sport. I got really anxious that I was going to gain a ton of weight. Like, I'm not doing all this cardio anymore. I need to keep it up. So I started to run. I did a half marathon. I did HIIT like twice a day. Just anything that could burn calories, I was going to do. And then in tandem with that, I was going to eat as little as possible because I'm not burning all these calories anymore. So developed a really unhealthy relationship with food and fitness. And I also have memories of like being in my bed crying at night because I would binge because I had restricted my food all day. And I'm like, it's just never going to get any better. But truly, through the grace of God, I met my husband, who is now my husband, Ben, and he was really into weightlifting. And we became friends, and he kind of introduced me to like powerlifting and how to squat and deadlift and bench and all these things. And slowly, I kind of made this transition into strong over skinny, right? Like, I want to build muscle. I want to squat 2 plates. I want to deadlift 2 plates. And began to educate myself about nutrition and how we use that to build muscle, and got really, really into weightlifting and powerlifting, and had done that for, after I graduated college, for 3-ish years. And decided I wanted a new challenge in the like fitness realm still, but not so much, you know, weightlifting or strength. And my husband had done a bodybuilding show, and I thought, huh, maybe I should try that. So that's how I ended up in bodybuilding.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much for sharing, those early stages of your journey and kind of the thoughts you had when you were so young. I think that's really common for girls to have, especially like you said, in a competitive sport like swimming. How do you think that weightlifting and bodybuilding helped improve your relationship with food?
The biggest, I think, key that got unlocked was, and it sounds kind of cliche, we hear this frequently, is that food is fuel. And I never saw it as that. I saw it as the enemy. almost. Like, I just want to eat as little of this as possible. Again, stay small. But as my mentality transitioned to wait, if my goal is to build muscle, then I need to eat. And so it goes from being an enemy to being like a teammate. Food does. Like it's going to help me reach my goal. Um, and so I think it's really hard to get to that spot with food. One, if you aren't like taught it growing up, and then you don't have the weightlifting component with it, or bodybuilding, right? Like if I want to build muscle, I need calories to do so to get stronger and work that hypertrophy. But yeah, it
Yeah,
was really
absolutely. I
cool.
really love that perspective on it, like seeing food as fuel and how I suppose like healing weightlifting and bodybuilding can be with your relationship with food because a lot of people from the outside see it and they see kind of disordered eating patterns and
Yeah.
crazy extremes that you go to. But I think when you start seeing it as fuel and, like you said, using it as a tool, something really does switch inside of you. So, yeah, I really love that.
Yeah, it's amazing how many people will comment on things I post online saying like, "Oh, this is disorder eating. You're promoting an eating disorder." And I'm like, it's actually kind of the opposite. like, it's just funny to think that that used to be me, and now I'm on the other side of. I think actually this can help our relationship with ultimately can help our relationship with food.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've recently made a splash with your motto, if I can do it, so can you. Can you share a bit about what this philosophy means to you and your journey?
Yes. So I mentioned how Ben, my husband, decided to compete in a show in 2023, the summer of 2023. And before he committed to it, like when we were discussing if he should do it or not, and then throughout his entire prep, I just saw how regimented he had to be with, of course, his meal plans and then also his cardio and, all the things that go into a prep. And throughout the entire thing, I'm like, I could never do that. That's just not for me. I'm not built to do that. I just don't think I could never do it. But I think partially through his encouragement and then also something in me wanting another challenge, I had this like come to Jesus moment of like, why not me? Right? Like, what makes Ben, my husband, what makes him not better, but what makes him able to pursue this goal um, that I don't have? Right? Like, there's nothing. Any of these girls that I see pursuing bodybuilding, getting on stage, getting lean, like, how are they different from me? Right? And so I think, like, I just see myself as a very average girl. I work a 9 to 5. I live in a small apartment. I have a dog. Like, there's nothing tremendous about me whatsoever. And so I like, and a lot of people see my stuff and are like, wow, this is amazing. This is fantastic. And I appreciate those comments always, but like, you can do it too. There's nothing that is innate in me that I'm able to go out and pursue this, bodybuilding journey that you don't have in you as well. Like, if you can really put your mind to it and decide, like, this is something I want to do, there's nothing separating me from whoever you see online, then you can do it. And I want people to know that and be encouraged by it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you feel like achieving such a big goal, like doing a bodybuilding show and actually proving to yourself that you can do it, has helped you grow in other areas of your life as well?
Oh my gosh, yeah. I doing the show and really just going through prep. Like, regardless of whether I had won my show, if I had come in last, the fact that I did everything I could to get me to that point is the most tangible way I've ever experienced delayed gratification before. Like, I've never experienced the gratification part of delayed gratification because we hear it with like investing and all these other things that take years and years and years to experience the benefits of. But having gone through prep, made it to the show, and then like winning the show, getting my pro card has really showed me that, again, like, why not me for another, whether it's a job. Like, for example, I just recently interviewed for a job I never would have gone after it before all of this. Because, like, why can I not go out and get that job? There's so many things like, why could I not start a business? Why? Like, it just translates a lot. Bodybuilding does, and having gone through all of that translates a lot into a ton of areas. Like I was talking with a girl today on Instagram. She said she was going to run a marathon in January, and I replied and said, "Oh, I don't think I could ever do that." And then I responded again and said, "Actually, I don't think I want to do that. I think I could if I wanted to, but I don't want to do that." So I think the like just being able to show yourself like you can do something even at the start if you don't think you can. Um, you just have to commit and keep grinding, and you can do it, whatever it is, whether it's in health and fitness or work, whatever it may be.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you really do build trust in yourself, especially going through a prep and just ticking those boxes every day. Like when you wake up and you're having a hard day and you feel tired and you don't want to do it, and then you actually do the things that you promised to yourself you're going to do, you build that trust in
Yes.
yourself and you keep repeating that over time. And then you just have confidence to do so many bigger things outside of bodybuilding as well, which, yeah, I really love about the sport.
Yes, I'm glad you said that because it just reminded me of, as I was kind of contemplating whether or not to compete, I was listening to a couple podcasts, and one of them I was listening to was talking about like the benefits of competing, and a lot of people like outside the world of bodybuilding will see it as like, oh, you just get like a really nice body, you get really shredded, you get really skinny, it's really cool. But this competitor was talking about how the biggest benefit she had received from bodybuilding is the self confidence. Because she talked about how, and I love this concept, which is what you just said, self confidence is just doing the things you tell yourself you're going to do, and like keeping the promises that you make to yourself. So when you wake up, you're exhausted, you don't want to get out of bed, you don't want to go do your cardio, you don't want to eat another piece of broccoli, but you told yourself you're going to do it, all of those actions compound after action after action after action and build up what you believe you can accomplish. So I'm so glad you said that because I had completely forgotten about it, but I'm such a strong believer in that concept.
Yes, absolutely. It is such a massive benefit of competing. So, speaking of competing, can you tell us about your show in May and what the whole experience was like?
Yes, it could not have gone any better than I thought it could have. I had such a blast, even like all throughout peak week and the night before, getting your tan, checking in. I had watched, 101 show day videos, like vlogs on YouTube. And it just kind of builds the anticipation of like, oh, I can't wait to get my tan and do my makeup and have the final look all together. But yeah, it was just totally it simultaneously was everything I expected and so far beyond anything I expected. Um, but I think one of my favorite parts of show day that you don't really see in the vlogs or you hear a lot of people talk about is just the conversation and relationships you make with the other competitors like backstage. I follow and communicate frequently with a lot of the girls that I met at my show, and it's just so fun to be back there and like you all have this commonality of you just went through, one of the hardest things you've ever done in life. And now you all get to celebrate that together. So it's a lot of like, good luck, you look great. Your team was awesome. Where are you going after this? Like, what are you going to eat post show? What's your post show treat? So that was something I wasn't expecting, but I'm really, really grateful for and appreciate a lot.
Yes, I love the friendships that you make through competing. Do you have any tips for a new competitor who's scared to be backstage or scared to make friends?
I would say everyone else is feeling probably exactly how you're feeling as well. Again, it's kind of the same concept. Like, why not me? like everyone's probably feeling nervous as well. Everyone is also feeling hesitant to reach out. And some people, are a little bit more outgoing and it comes a bit more naturally for them. But like take the step. You just went through 6 months of absolute, it's so strenuous. You can reach out and say hey to someone that's next to you backstage. Like, if you can get up at 4 a.m. and go do, 60 minutes on the Stairmaster for 12 weeks straight, you can say hey to a fellow competitor and just start a conversation. And you'll feel so much better after doing it as well, right? It's like anytime you do something that causes you anxiety, whether it's a job interview or like going on stage, once it's over, you're so glad that you did it, but it takes that step of faith in order to get to the other side of it.
Yeah, I love that. And what made you choose to compete in OCB?
Partially, I didn't know any better. Or not better, but I just didn't know the differences. There's a lot of different organizations depending on what you want your experience to be like. But my husband competed at an OCB show, and I obviously went to that and got to see that experience. And I think that OCB is a great federation to start bodybuilding. If you're interested in bodybuilding, it's a great federation to start your journey. It's a lot smaller than the MPC. Um, and it's a tested federation, which I really appreciate. And one thing that I also love about the OCB is because it's so small, it has like a familial essence to it. Like you're a part of this OCB family and you kind of know people from social media, from other shows. And so the show day experience is a lot different than like a big MPC show, but I really liked it. Um, and just how you connect with the judges and again the other competitors, like it's a really good way to start or like to dip your toes into bodybuilding because it's not like a huge production. They're not trying to rush anything. It's just very fun, and I loved it, and I love the OCB.
Yeah, amazing. And how did it feel to win your pro card?
I'm speechless. I don't. It was. I talked about delayed gratification, right? Like it was the most tangible way I have ever experienced that before, and to be able, to have worked so hard towards something, and then on my first try, which I'm so proud of and grateful for, to be able to achieve that goal was I've just never experienced anything like it, but throughout my whole prep, I did a ton of research. I followed a ton of, bodybuilders on Instagram and watched their YouTubes. And I wanted to like train like a pro. Like I wanted to pretend I was already a pro. Even though again, not a full-time influencer, not a full-time bodybuilder, working 9 to 5, but I wanted to make the time and have the intention of training like a pro. And again, to see that rewarded was like such a life-giving moment for me. And again, it's really hard to describe, but I'm so proud of it.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. Well, congratulations again for that. That is a massive achievement in your first show. You have been popping up everywhere on social media. Like, I feel like your reels are just everywhere. I personally love your content. It's so funny. I feel like I relate to everything that you post. What's your approach been to social media and like how do you think it's kind of impacting your bodybuilding career?
I think something I've wanted to do since starting posting is just remain transparent and vulnerable and being honest. I think there is a lot of fabricated content we consume day to day. And obviously, like, I edit my videos, I put filters on things, but I think transparency is such a needed aspect in social media and can be so beneficial for others. Like, I've had, after posting something that I'm kind of hesitant to do. Like, this is kind of showing something I don't really want people to see or know about me. I've had so many people reach out and say, like, me too. Like, I also struggle with that. I've also been in that situation. And the fact that other people can relate to it, and my followers or people who interact with my content can feel seen by me stepping up and sharing something, again, I think is so valuable, and it's something that I would want in someone that I follow. And so I think the biggest way it's impacting bodybuilding really is through those connections that I'm getting to make with others who see my stuff. Like this would have never happened. Hopping on this podcast with you, Sarah, would not, be happening if not for social media. And so I think it's a great tool if it's used well and used with integrity.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love the connections that social media creates as well. Like, you're just some random girl that I found on
Across the
Instagram
globe.
through reels that popped up in my feed, like on the other side of the world. And now you're on my podcast, which is super cool. And I love how you show up and you're transparent and you show up as you. Like, you're on the podcast now and you're exactly the same as you show up on social media. So it's just really refreshing. So well done for putting out all of that incredible content. Do you have any tips for creating engaging content that resonates with your followers?
I think putting yourself in their shoes, like, what would you, if I was a follower of me, what would I want to see? Like, what I think is funny, what would I think is relatable? And then also, one of the biggest things I think that I frequently do with social media is overthink it, but you really just need to not overthink it. If you have like, oh, this is weird that I eat all my meals with the same spoon because of its size, like maybe someone else does that too. And come to find out, thousands of people also do that. So if you just have like a funny little idea, I say go for it. Like, what's the worst that could happen? That's kind of been my whole one of my mottos with this social media thing is like, what's the worst that could happen if I post this? Like, someone judges me, someone comments something mean. Like, at the end of the day, it's just gonna thicken my skin. It's this person who I don't even know, has no weight in my real life outside of social media. So that's another big thing, is to not um, care really about what people are going to say. Like, if you think it's funny and you think people will find value in it, make it, create it, film it, and post it. And you'll find that a lot more people will probably relate to it than you think.
Yeah, that's really great advice. And how do you stay so consistent with posting?
It's not always easy. Sarah, I'll tell you something that's kind of embarrassing. But I'm working remote now, but when I'm usually in an office, I would take every time I go to the bathroom, and on prep, you gotta pee like every 30 minutes. It's very frequent. You're consuming so much water. I will edit reels like on the toilet sometimes. And like any moment I have to edit stuff, I'm going to take advantage. That's like one of my deep dark secrets. I hope my boss never sees this video or podcast or listens to it. Um, but I think this principle extends into fitness, into life. But if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So think ahead. Don't just wait. Again, you got to hop on those, last minute, like, oh, I think this is funny. I'm going to hop on this trending sound kind of things. But they're not all like that. You have to think ahead. Like, I have a note on my phone of every time I have an idea for a reel, I throw it on there. Anytime I think of something that I think someone would find value in, I put it on there. And then I'll look ahead and say, like, oh, you know what? I should film this and post that. So it's not totally, off the whim, all of my stuff, my content. Because I do plan a lot of it out and plan like when I'm gonna edit stuff. Like right after this, I'm gonna edit a reel that I want to post. So you gotta plan it into your day. Every time you go to the bathroom, take your phone so you can edit a reel. You gotta plan. You gotta plan.
I think that is such an underrated tip though, like whether you do it on the toilet or not, like just using time that you have to edit, and whether you're like habit stacking, maybe you're doing cardio, you can edit some videos, maybe you're, I don't know, waiting like in line for something or sitting down for a minute, just quickly edit a video. I think that's a really great tip to just get it done. And I like the idea of having the notes in your phone as well, so that you have those ideas ready to edit something when you have
Yeah.
the time. So back to competing and prep and everything, can you walk us through your mindset before you started competing? Like what were your main concerns?
My biggest concern was that I was going to undo all of the progress I had done with my relationship with food. I struggled, I shared earlier, I struggled with disordered eating, binging, restricting, and that's basically all prep is restricting food, right? Like you have a meal plan and you eat to that meal plan to a T and you don't stray from that. That's what restricting food is. So I think my biggest concern was that I was going to undo all that progress and then that I wasn't going to have the self control to resist cravings and that I was going to binge and ruin my prep and that I didn't have the determination to do it or I had a lack of discipline in order to um, successfully see it through. Those are some of the things that were big hindrances for me when I was considering competing.
Yeah, I think those are really common concerns. And just talking about food as well and your relationship with food, can you explain how you've approached the reverse dieting process and how that's going for you?
Yes. I am glad we're filming this a little bit further out from my most recent show because I would have been really discouraged hopping on here. but I so first, my husband had an absolutely terrible post-show experience. Like, did not have a reverse plan whatsoever. Ate whatever he wanted. Had really bad, I think it's edema, like swelling in his legs. Like it hurt for him to walk. Like it was terrible. And so I got to see that and learn from his mistakes. So we had a bit more of a structured plan for myself. My husband's my coach. Um, After my show, but I don't think, and I'm learning this, that post show and like reversing is talked about enough, and just how challenging it is mentally. Like I think prep is it's mentally challenging, but it's a lot more of a physical challenge, I think, and the reverse 100% mental because you go from doing everything you can, every movement, every calorie you consume, all your time is to get to a certain body composition, to look a certain way, to be shredded. And then seemingly overnight, you're like, oh, okay, now you have to gain weight. And because the like body fat percentage right now is not healthy. And that messes with your head after going for months of, eating such a small amount to like, okay, now you got to eat all this. And then you factor your hormones into it and your ghrelin and leptin, they're, going nuts. They're like, we need to eat all this food. We're not going to get it again. We've been starving. Ah! And so it's this mess in your head. And so for the first couple weeks, I was so discouraged. I was thinking about food 24/7, planning all my meals because I had a macro plan. Like you're gonna have this amount of calories, make sure you hit this protein, but other than that, like you got it. And so that puts a lot of stress on you in an already pretty stressful time. So I think next time I reverse, I'll do it a bit differently. Um, but it does get better. I know that sounded really negative, but even this past week, I went to Chipotle and I got a bag of chips because I wanted a bag of chips. And then I took some of the chips home because I didn't force myself to eat all of them because my scarcity mentality wasn't like, we're never going to get these chips again. We have to eat them now. So the reverse is and has been really challenging. I don't think it's talked about enough and made to seem normal. I think a lot of people see influencers hitting their goals. They're like, oh, this reverse, like I'm having trouble. There's one girl I follow. She's like, I'm having trouble getting all my meals in for my reverse. I'm like, oh, it's not me whatsoever. I'm having trouble not eating everything that I see. Which goes back to, again, like what I post. I want to be transparent. I want to make sure people know that if they are going through this, they're not alone. It's really hard, but it does get better as your hormones regulate, as you do eat more food, you begin to normalize and like find what normal feels like because you really haven't been like normal for quite some time. So it's a crazy process, but I'm learning a lot along the way and I'm grateful for it. But it's definitely not easy or as easy as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, absolutely. I can relate to a lot of what you just said. What's something that helped you find more balance post show?
I think getting out of the world of bodybuilding, which is, it can be hard, especially because of the things that I post, people I follow on Instagram. Like it's very bodybuilding centric. I love it. I have come to love bodybuilding. But when you step out of the bodybuilding bubble, you realize that's not all of life. Like my parents were here for a weekend and I got to spend it with them. And they're not bodybuilders. Like we just talked about normal people things. And it was great. And then I went to go see one of my best friends in Denver last weekend and she's not a bodybuilder and I got to do like normal friend things with my friend. And so scheduling in time with people that are not in bodybuilding, I think has been essential. Especially because I'm working remote right now. My husband's really into bodybuilding. He's kind of the only person I see, really. And then the people at the gym. So being intentional about spending time with people who are not in the bodybuilding world, I think is a great way to help you transition back to like real life, right? Like life isn't all of just bodybuilding. It's a big part of it for a lot of us, but it's not all that there is. Um, because it seems like it when you're in prep, like everything's dictated by prep when you're in prep, like where you can go, what you can eat, who you can see, when you can do it. But when you're not in prep, you got to learn again, like what regular life is.
Yes, absolutely. I think that's something that I found quite hard after my first show as well, was like actually kind of getting at reversing obviously and trying to stick to that, but getting out of that prep mentality and realizing actually I can do things with my friends and I can have a little bit of flexibility like without that guilt. So I think like you said, just actually scheduling that in that time to have with normal friends and family who aren't bodybuilders is super important and definitely really helpful. So yeah, I love that. Was your first prep what you expected?
To a certain extent, yes. It was helpful that I got to live with my husband who had gone through one and kind of seen like the ins and outs and the nitty gritty. But I remember up until about like 5, 6 weeks before my show, I said to him, like, oh, this really hasn't been as bad as I thought it was going to be. But then at 5, 6 weeks out, the fatigue hit me like a ton of bricks. And so I knew that I was going to be tired. I knew I was going to be hungry. It really wasn't like my hunger was about at my expectation levels, but the sheer exhaustion that you feel when you are like really, really digging is undescribable. Like, I remember I told my friend, I think that like I would go to pee and I'd be sitting there and I'd be done and like I have to build my will to stand up off the toilet just because I'm so tired. Like it feels so good to sit down and like on the that part was I know I expected to be tired, but not to that extent. You can feel your body doing all that it can to conserve your energy because it is lacking energy.
Yeah, that part of prep can definitely be tough when you start feeling like that. What got you through like hard workouts or things that you had to do when you were feeling that fatigue? Like, what would you say to yourself?
Good question. I think the self confidence piece uh, would come into play a lot of like You told yourself you're going to do this, and you can. You did it yesterday, you did it the day before, you did it the day before that. Like, you can do it right now. But it doesn't always feel that way. But again, you build this stack of proof, right? That you can look to and say, okay, like I remember that instance when that time on the stationary bike, I didn't think I could do it, but I did it. And so I can do it today. It never gets easier. Like every time I got ready to get on the stationary bike to do cardio, I never like wanted to do it anymore. In fact, I like wanted to do it less, even like the day before my last cardio session. Like, I just cannot do this. I don't know if I'm going to do it. But I had hundreds of days of proof where, yeah, I can do it. Um, but again, it doesn't necessarily make it any easier. You just have to do it. Like, just do it. Nike, just do it.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I definitely had one of those moments this morning on the stationary
Yeah.
bike. I'm halfway through my prep and I kind of thought back to like all the work that I had put in to get to this point, obviously on prep, like the hard days that I've already gotten through, and then also like the 2 years of building muscle that I've
Yeah.
just done. Like, I don't want to build muscle for that long and get uncomfortable, and I think back to like my past self and all the work that I put in, and I just think like I can't let her down, so that kind of
Yes.
pushes me through to get it done. And like you said, it's building that proof. So if anyone listening to this while you're doing cardio, do it for your past self.
Do it. Yes. That's great. Like, honor the work that your past self put in. Like, you worked hard. Like, don't let that go to waste. Like, honor that person and the work that they put in, just like you would anyone else. That's another thing that I think is important to look at when we think about self confidence is like, okay, self confidence is keeping the promises you make to yourself just like you would someone else. So, think if someone else had done all this work up to this point and it was dependent on you right now to finish your cardio session, you would finish it for them. Like, no questions asked. But because it's you have that, little devil's advocate that it's like, maybe you don't need to do this. Like, it's okay. You can stop. But if it was someone else, you would 100% do it. And there's no reason that you should not do something for yourself like you would do for someone else.
Yes, absolutely. I love that perspective. So you've become a role model for so many aspiring bodybuilders. What advice would you give to someone who feels like they're ordinary and they want to achieve extraordinary fitness goals?
So I'd say two things. First, one of my biggest mottos for my prep was just 1% better. Each day, I just got to get 1% better. I'm going to do 30 extra seconds on the Stairmaster, or I'm going to do one level, higher on the bike for a minute. Like, very little, or take, 100 extra steps, whatever it is, like something that you can accomplish that day, choose to do it. And, we have all these sayings that try to articulate this because, you see people that have done the weight loss thing or they've done the prep thing, and you can't believe that they went from the picture on the right to the picture on the left. But it's not like they did it overnight. Like, they didn't wake up one day and they were prepped and ready to hop on stage. Like, it was day after day after day of little actions that got them to that point. And I think people lose sight of that, especially with social media, right? Where we can post the before and after picture and it looks like we did it overnight. But again, we have all these sayings like Rome wasn't built in a day, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, or like you can't eat an elephant in one bite. Like, whatever. We have all these things for a reason. It's all saying the same thing. Like, if you want to achieve something, you're not going to do it all at once. But I think we hear those things and we don't really understand what they mean or that they apply to us. Like, oh, no, I can't do that because I can't do it tomorrow. That's not true. If you want to achieve something extraordinary, whatever it is, whether it's fitness related or not, you can, but it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to require work, effort, sacrifice, time, and dedication. But if you can do those things bit by bit, again, it's not like all or nothing, then you can get there. Um, and taking it back kind of all the way to the beginning, like, why not you? There's no
Yeah,
reason that you can't do it. You just have to do 1% better every day for a lot of days, but you can do it.
absolutely. And I think that brings us back to delayed gratification as well. Like, it is hard until you've experienced that gratification piece of the delayed gratification, like
Yes.
you said before. But once you experience that, it does get easier. And like you said as well, like time, that is such an important piece, time and consistency.
Yes. And you got to find the small wins too. Like, it would be hard to go throughout a whole prep and not feel like you had any wins until you stepped on stage. But like, that's why I think documenting your journey is so valuable because you can look back from a month before and see your body composition, or even journaling, like seeing what your mental space was like a month before. um, because you don't really feel like, if you don't document it, you don't really feel like you make any progress at all. You feel very stagnant. But if you can document what you're doing and where you're at, then you're gonna look back a month, 2 months, and not be able to believe like what you've been able to do, and celebrate those little small wins as you work towards the big win of stepping on stage.
Yes, absolutely. And what do you think are the most important traits or habits that have helped you succeed in this sport?
Determination and work ethic are two things that I've really pride myself on. But I also think that, and I've, always felt like I've had those, I have that in my resume. So anytime I apply to a job, I'm like, hardworking, dedicated, girl, et cetera, et cetera. Um, but I think those are skills to be cultivated. And so if you're someone who doesn't feel like you have strong work ethic, or you don't feel like you have a very determined personality, again, do the small things in order to cultivate those skills. It's not like I was born and I have all the work ethic I'm ever going to have. Like, it takes time and intentionality, 1% better every day, to build up this work ethic and this dedication that I'm so proud of, and that I feel like have really helped me to do the things I was able to do and accomplish in bodybuilding.
Yes, absolutely. And with your recent success and growing influence as well, what are your next goals in competing and just generally in life?
Growth. That's kind of my word right now. My muscles gonna grow. Take some time to develop some of those. I'd love to work on growing my social media. I just love creating content. It is so fun and life giving for me. I'm gonna grow that, and then just my mindset. Even I've talked about the reverse, but I still don't feel like 100%. Um, so just working to back to normal and back to somewhere where I am confident and yeah, not like worried about what the scale says, or worried about if I eat 20 calories over my plan or recommendation. Um, so I think growth is kind of my theme right now. If everything goes according to plan, I'm hoping to compete next year, 2025. Um, Hopefully in a handful of shows, but the main one is the OCB Yorton Cup. It's kind of like the Olympia of the OCB. Um,
Mm.
so I'll have to qualify for that, but I'd love to go out there, compete in that, and then I'd also really love to qualify for a national NPC show. So gonna put in some work, build some muscle, and hopefully get to that point next year. And then also, I am a certified nutrition coach. And one thing, like, I love bodybuilding, but something I'm really, really passionate about is helping women learn about their health and their bodies. And so I have a couple clients right now that I coach, and I love them. They're crushing it. But that's something eventually I'd love to transition to pursue full time. And so right now I'm kind of putting in a little bit of work to kind of get that ready and developed, um, in order to really go full steam ahead with that and being able to come alongside women and help them be strong, not just physically, but also mentally and emotionally, all those realms.
Amazing. Well, that is all very exciting. I love how you have goals in all areas of life, and like you said, growth is your main goal, which is yeah, really incredible. I can't wait to see what you achieve. How do you manage your time to balance like work, training, dieting, social media, all the things that you do?
I said this already. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. You really, if you something's important to you, you're gonna make time for it. And so, and frequently, if we are not intentional with our time, we find it will just pass. And then we'll look back and be like, what did I actually do today or last week? But if you have goals, you're going to have to make sacrifices. Um, and maybe not spend that extra hour on your phone before you go to sleep because you have to get up early to train tomorrow. But looking ahead, looking at what might be a challenge, um, and how you can mitigate that, I think is essential when you're trying to balance a lot of different things at once because it's doable. Like people balance 10 times more than I do. Um, and I think it's because they're just able to plan and plan well.
Yeah, absolutely. Planning is so, so important. So, for those inspired by your journey and wanting to follow along, where can they find you online?
Yes, you can find me at Abigail Okenge. That's ABIGAILOKENGE on Instagram. It's kind of where I am primarily. Hoping maybe one day to journey to YouTube, but we're gonna keep it on Instagram here for a while.
Amazing. I will link you down below as well so people can go and give you a follow. And last question, what is the best piece of advice you've ever received?
This is such a big question.
Yes.
I had a mentor in college who encouraged me when I had a big decision of a job that I didn't know if I wanted to take or not. She said, Abigail, you just have to do all that's in your power and then let God do the rest. And she framed it like it's not you're giving 90% and then God's giving 10%, or like you're doing 5 and God's doing 95, whatever. You give your 100% and God will do his 100%. As long as you know that you did everything in your power, that's all I could do. The outcome of whatever is not up to me at that point, and I can find peace in that. But I think we can't just say, like, oh, destiny will take care of it. What happens, happens. Like, I'm going to control what I can control and do my best in that. And then what happens after that, I can be at peace with because I know that I did my 100% and everything I could do, to get me to whatever happens. And then being at peace with that.
Yes, I love that so much. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. I have absolutely loved this episode, and I'm sure our listeners did as well.
Thank you, Sarah. It's been such a pleasure. I love hearing your accent too. It's so fun to talk to someone with such a like. I just don't talk to a lot of people with accents, so it's really
Yeah.
fun for me.
I mean, I'm glad you can understand me the whole time.
Yes.
And thank you so much to our listeners as well. If you did like this episode, then please don't forget to rate the show on whatever platform you're listening on. Share it to your stories, tag both of us. We love to see you listening and what you're doing while you're listening to it. So thank you so much. I'll see you guys on the next episode.
Thank you.